I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to your April reading. Happy April 1st, April Fool's Day for those of you that like to celebrate pranking other people. Today's your day. Um so April. Okay. We have a few things in April I want to talk about quickly with the cosmos. We have the Libra full moon happening on April 5th. It's April 5th or April 6th, depending on where you are in the world. Either really early in the morning, April 6th, or really late at night, April 5th. And this is happening in your fifth house. And this is going to be a very healing full moon. This full moon is also connected to eclipse season that will be happening. We have the first eclipse season happening in April. The second part of eclipse season of 2023 will be happening in October, and that'll be happening with a Libra new moon. So that connection that we're having here, really like learning how to express yourself, is going to be a very big theme. And this is going to be a very healing full moon. Like, the sun is going to be conjunct Chiron so it's like amplified healing is happening. The 19th, we have the Aries total solar eclipse at 29 degrees in your 11th house. So this is the second Aries new moon. That's like rarely happens, and it's at the 29th degree, which is the anaretic degree, which is the degree of fate, and that's kicking off eclipse season. So this is going to be a very potent eclipse happening in your 11th house. And the 11th house and the 5th house are like, the 5th house is about how you learn how to express yourself. It's very much like teenage years. And if you were not given the space as like a teenager to learn how to express your emotions, to learn how to express who you are, a lot of artists come from the 5th house. It's our heart center as well. And it's a very childlike house, where the 11th house is more about the community and less about ourselves. It's about humanitarian. It's about our hopes and dreams, but we can't reach our hopes and dreams if we can't learn how to express our needs, how to express our desires, how to express our wants. So that's how the 5th house and the 11th house are very connected with each other. So, you know, this is like really a time to remove the things in your life. This solar eclipse that's happening in Aries is a time to remove the things in your life that are holding you back. Remove the things in your life that don't allow you to express your full nature, your full, the fullness of who you are, your wholeness. And then so we'll have the Scorpio full moon eclipse in May, on May 5th. And then we have Mercury retrograde happening on the 21st of April. So we have the solar eclipse happening on the 19th, and then we have Mercury beginning retrograde on the 21st. Mercury pre-shadow begins on April 5th with the Libra full moon. And then the post-shadow will go to the end of May. So Mercury retrograde is the 21st of April through May 14th. Will be happening in your 12th house in Taurus. So really spending a lot of time with yourself. When Mercury is transiting your 12th house, you tend to keep your thoughts and your opinions to yourself more. Be careful of doing that to the extent of where like something needs to be said. Like, we live in a world right now where people are very, very afraid of saying the things that need to be said. Like, if there is a building on fire, if somebody's child is being abused, things like that, like things need to be said, and people don't say things anymore. We keep our mouth shut because we don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to like mistake something that's not really happening for what it is. And so like our perceptions of things can get us in trouble a lot. But so this Mercury retrograde in your 12th house, you may find that the things that you don't say while the Mercury is transiting your 12th house, the things there might be consequences for that. So say the things that need to be said, even if it's really uncomfortable. One of the things that I think is great with having people around you that you can trust is that being able to say things to people that you can trust is it makes you feel safe, makes you feel very, very safe. So, all right, Gemini, let's see what surrender card. What is it that Gemini is surrendering for April? I almost said May. Like, your season is just around the corner. It's almost here. So what is Gemini surrendering for April? Deep breaths, Gemini. We just going to shuffle cards today? Is that what's going to happen? No cards popping out for you guys today. You're like, nope. Mercury's going to be in the 12th house. Mercury's in the 12th house. I'm not saying anything. Surrender to your soul's path. I love this for you guys. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. I feel like another sign got this recently. Surrender to your soul's path. I'm going to read that again. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. I cleansed these cards really, really good. Oh yeah, I can already tell. They were kind of sticky. Like when your cards start to get a little bit sticky, that means that there's energy that needs to be moved through them. So they were a little sticky. I cleansed them all for you guys. Surrender to your soul's path. So for some of you Geminis out there, you are maybe even feeling a little bit lost and not really sure what that soul's path is going to be. We have the Queen of Wands and we have the Four of Pentacles. For some of you, you're holding on to a fire sign in your life, but you're also being a little bit stubborn. And for some of you, you need to save some money in order to be successful. Okay, the rest of your reading just came out before we clarify. All right. Okay, so we had the Queen of Wands and the Four of Pentacles, and now we also have the Six of Wands on the top part. And then we have the Two of Swords. We have the Fool. We have the Emperor, and we have the High Priestess. Okay. For some of you, you're dealing with an Aries energy. Others of you, a Pisces energy. But I feel like you're sitting in this Queen of Wands energy. And I feel like you're ready to do something. I feel like you're ready to start saving money so that you can do something on your own. And I feel like you don't know what that looks like, but you kind of like you're looking towards a plan so that you can do something. This Fool and Emperor, this screams entrepreneur energy to me. Some of you want to go out on your own and you don't want to work for anybody else anymore. And this Two of Swords is like, I have no idea how that's going to look. But I know that I have a plan. I know that I want to do something and I know that I have a certain plan. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go with this plan. And the High Priestess is like that intuitive feeling, that intuitive knowing that you just sort of have this idea and you have this plan. So for some of you, you guys are stepping into April with like this confidence of like, I am ready to be successful. I'm going to follow my soul's path. I'm going to follow what I know to be true for myself. I don't know how it's going to look, but I'm going to do it because I have this gut feeling and I'm ready. Okay. And I think that's wonderful. And I think that's amazing. I love that. So let's clarify. Like, I almost don't want to get clarifiers because I love this reading so much. I don't want to like clarify it away. Oh yeah, okay. So we get the Strength card on that Queen of Wands. The Four of Swords on the Four of Pentacles. That makes sense. Okay, so there's this rigidity that I was also feeling with some of these cards. Like, it's great that you have an idea, and it's great that you have this soul path, and you have this direction that you want to go in, and you're being, you know, like, you've got it, right? So we have the Strength card here on the Queen of Wands, and, you know, that's about resilience. The Strength card, if you look at the Strength card, it's an angel taming a lion, and like literally the lion's mouth is open. Like that lion could eat her. And she's taming that. So it's like you're almost taming the ego inside of you. Like that's what's being asked of you. Like you have this, like, yes, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to push forward, and you have this confidence, and you have this knowing of what you want to do, and it's April 1st, and it's a brand new day, and like, here we go, right? But there's this taming that needs to happen. We have the Four of Swords on that Four of Pentacles. Like, really make sure that you're keeping yourself open to possibilities. Really make sure that you're not killing yourself. Your soul's path is not going to ask you to kill yourself to get there. It's not going to require you to completely undo yourself and get sick and hustle to the bone, like, and not sleep for days and whatever. Like that, your soul's path, surrendering to your soul's path is not going to require of you to hustle. So that Four of Swords, that doesn't mean that you don't have to do any work, but what you need to do is surrender to the ego part of this. If you're going to surrender to your soul's path, there's this ego that you're taming. We're not killing the ego. That's an old narrative that we're not doing anymore. We're not talking about the old narratives. So resting, meditating while you're resting, that Four of Swords is allowing you to be present. Okay, like it's teaching you how to be present. That's what meditation does. It teaches you how to get into the body and to be present. And then we have this Ace of Cups on the Six of Wands. Your success is determined by how much you show up for yourself, by how much you give back to yourself. That's what your success is determined by. It's not determined by what other authority figures said of you. It's not determined by what your parents, you know, like what you were programmed and conditioned to believe about yourself. Like your success is determined by how you see yourself, right? So that Ace of Cups is filling up your own cup, giving back to yourself. That's where surrendering to your soul path comes from, is by giving back to yourself. And then doors start to open, right? So this Two of Swords, you're like, you know, you're ready, you're gung ho, you're out the gate. You're like, it's April, let's do this. Like, I'm ready. You know, springtime is here. My season's just around the corner. I don't know what path is going to look like. Two of Swords, right? So let's see. So first we know that it's not about the hustle. And we also know that it's not about forcing anything. We want to really make sure that we're listening to the intuitive part of this as well. Okay. There we go. It's like, I know. All right. So we have the Chariot with the Two of Swords. And I mean, it's kind of like the irony of these two cards being together. Like, you don't know where you're going, you just know that you're going, and that's exactly what the Chariot's here to tell you. The Chariot is a major arcana, and major arcanas are our road signs, right? They're our map. They're what we're supposed to be paying attention to. And the Chariot is all about our journey and finding balance, right? Within that journey with the black and white sphinxes here. You don't need to know all of it. You don't need to know all of it, right? You just need to know that you're doing it. You don't need to know the details, all the fine details. Sometimes you get to know the details, but it's not always, so this is that surrendering. And the Chariot is also about divine timing. Sorry, my ear's popping. I've had this sinus infection and my ears are finally like popping. The Chariot is about divine timing. You don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but you just know that it's, look at that. The Hanged Man is at the bottom of the deck as I turn the deck over. Then we have the World with the Fool. So the cycles that we're closing out first are very, very important. Like, there's this ending that's happening. The World is the very end of the deck, and the Fool is the very first card. So we have the very last card of the deck and the very first card of the deck here. And they're both major arcana. So with the endings come these beginnings, but they're unknown, right? There's this unknown beginning that's happening. And it's not about, again, it's not about knowing the details. It's about getting so present with yourself that you just trust and you have faith. It's funny because when I'm talking about divine timing with people, I'm always reminding everybody that divine timing is your timing. When you're aligned to your path, when you're aligned to your soul's path, when you're aligned to what it is, where you're supposed to be going, and where we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to be doing, what you're supposed to be doing, that's divine timing right there. You're aligned to the timing of your path. And so you don't have to wait for things to show up, because you're not projecting that you're waiting for something to come in the future. You are where you're supposed to be, where you are supposed to be right now, doing what you're doing right now. Whether it seems a little bit chaotic, thank you very much. My life is extremely chaotic right now. But whether it seems chaotic, whether it seems like unknown, like, what is all this? Like, I don't even know what to do with most of the things that are happening in my life these days. I just know that I'm here, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, focusing on what I'm supposed to be focusing on. So there's beginnings and endings, and there are unknown beginnings that are happening right now. So looking at things in a different perspective, Hanged Man, right? That's imperative that we do that. 6 of Cups on the Emperor. I feel like for some of you, you're getting in control of the past. I feel like this is in a very literal way. You are beginning to control the way your past, like the way that it reacts to you, or the way that you react to it, if you will. But also for some of you, what you want to see in your future is part of your past. Like, you have a dream of like whatever entrepreneurial, because that Emperor is big entrepreneur vibes for me in this reading. I don't know why, but there's something where you want to go off on your own. And it's something that feels very, very deeply rooted. Maybe not necessarily when you were a child, but it feels very deeply rooted in like your generational past, like past lives, even with this 6 of Cups here. So following that feeling of like, oh, wow, this is familiar. This feels familiar. This feels like what the direction I'm supposed to be going in. That goes along with your intuitive knowing, right? So we have this Knight of Wands with the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is your intuition. It's the all-knowing. So first of all, major arcana, trusting your intuition, paying attention to your intuition. The Knight of Wands here is that back and forth, like not really sure what to land on, not really sure where I'm going, like the feeling off, right? Not balanced at all. And so if you're in this kind of state of back and forth, go to your intuition. Like this is screaming, you can trust yourself. You can trust your intuition during these unknown beginnings that are happening right now. And there's some stuff that you can control in your existence, and there's just some stuff that you just can't. And the things that you can control, that's the stuff where we're learning. You know, like if I'm giving an example, you know, there are some things in my life right now that I can't control, but what I can control is how I press on moving forward. I'm not going to do the same things that I did in the past. So I'm going to choose a different direction because I'm learning lessons here, right? So recognizing, you know, where that confidence really is coming from in not an egoic way, but more of a empowered way. And in not hustling or just knowing when it's time to rest, right? Like, yes, we want to be able to save that money up and save the coins, right? With the Four of Pentacles, but that Four of Swords is like, we're not hustling to do that. We're choosing differently instead of hustling, right? So, all right, my friends, I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for April. I do have an eclipse reading available. So if you would like to if you'd like to know how this eclipse energy is going to affect you in your chart, we have the eclipse energy or the eclipse reading available. So we'll talk about this part of the eclipse. We'll talk about the eclipse in October, and then I'm also going to talk to you about the Mercury retrograde when we do that. So yeah, all of that is on my website in the description box. Love you guys. See you later.